was born in Cleveland, Ohio, and was there for a few years in the heart of Cleveland, so to speak, and it was a wonderful town to grow up in during the '50s. I had a very tragic event in my home when I was 6 years old, or 5 years old, whatever it was. My mother passed away, and my dad moved us in with my grandparents, and so my life was a little upset for a few years until we regathered as a family. Lived with my grandmother in the Heights area of Cleveland, which was opened my eyes to another culture, and from there we moved to a little town called Aurora when my dad remarried, and I graduated from Aurora High School, and I was always involved with everything, and president of Future Teachers of America, SGA, senior class, vice president, played all the sports and captain and all that kind of stuff, and went to Kent State. Just prior to that weekend, it was a gorgeous weekend in Ohio. One of those beautiful May weekends coming up with beautiful weather, the leaves full bloom, flowers in full bloom, and it was just gorgeous. And Kent State, if you've ever been to University of Georgia, the setting's pretty similar. There's a few hills, and the buildings are set on top of hills in many places. As the weekend progressed, on Friday night, things got a little out of hand, and students were downtown, which was the kind of the party center, and they migrated towards the campus where there was some demonstrations going on, and the culmination of the riot, so to speak, was the burning down of the ROTC buildings, which obviously then made a statement about military, and the whole thing was about Vietnam, of course. That was the conflict going on. So as a result of the burning down of the buildings, the National Guard was called in. The National Guard then quieted the campus, kept control of everybody, but over the course of the weekend, people began to, and I would say the purpose of that was to have school as normal. How can you have school as normal with National Guard all over the place? The Student Union, which is where kids gather, there's a big open field, and then on top of the hill across from the Student Union are a couple of buildings, including the architecture building. Actually both my roommates were architect majors, so we kind of became familiar with that particular area quite a bit. So anyway, the lines were drawn in the sand, so to speak, and maybe even literally, and somebody threw something. This is the story anyway. Somebody threw something at the National Guard, a rock or something, and they retaliated with open fire and killed 4 students and wounded many others. Obviously, Kent State University was turned upside down as a result of that. Closed the campus, and we had to finish our courses via correspondence, and then school started again, quote, as normal next fall, so everything was shut down during the summer. Of the 4 students that were killed, one of them was in one of my classes. Sandy Shearer was in one of my classes, so I knew her. Kent State started planting seeds about what is important, what kind of decisions does one really need to make in one's life to make sure that if a tragedy comes, you're prepared for it. And it's things like that that allowed me to make a very important decision in my life, and that was to become a Christian and to live for Christ. And immediately everything changed. In 1971, started my career and teaching Spanish, coaching. And for 16 years I was in Christian school education, and my wife and I, with the kids grown and out of the picture, we decided to move to Florida, where my parents were at, and her parents moved down with us, and for 8 years we were in Florida. The opportunity came to join Mr. Taylor here at Lee County, and I had been a principal down in Florida.